Hey, this is Jill Stowell from Stowell Learning Center. I work with a lot of moms and dads who are exhausted with the ongoing battle of helping their child succeed in school. Maybe you're one of those parents. Do you ever feel scared for your child that they're not going to be able to keep up in school, or that she won't be able to have the life that you want for her? There is a reason why your smart child is struggling in school, and it's not a parenting problem or because your child is lazy or unmotivated. This is my daughter, Christy. She was a competitive ice skater growing up, and in the ice skating world, getting your double axel is a really big milestone. When Christy was 12, she wanted two things really badly. She wanted to get her double axel, and she wanted a pair of Doc Martens boots that cost $100. Well, there was no way that I was going to spend $100 on a foot that was still growing. So one day at the ice rink, Christy's coach pulls out a $100 bill out of his pocket and says, "If you will land your double axel right now, I will give you this $100 bill." Was she motivated? You better believe it. She really wanted those boots. So she skated around the rink, she went up, she spun 2.5 times. It was beautiful. And then she fell. She was so motivated. Why didn't she land it? She just didn't quite have the skills to do it. When you don't have the skills to do the job, all motivation in the world isn't going to be enough. In order to successfully learn academics and do well in school, there are whole sets of underlying processing skills that need to be in place. And if any of these underlying skills are weak or inefficient, it can cause students to have trouble paying attention and to have to work harder and longer than expected, even if they're smart and even if they're motivated. Most schools and educational organizations do not teach these underlying skills. They're just assumed to be in place. The good news is that by developing these underlying skills, most learning and attention challenges can change. Kelly came to us when she was a junior in high school. She was a smart girl, but she was failing her history class. In fact, she hated history, and she was getting D's in a lot of her other classes. She wasn't diagnosed with a learning disability, so it kind of looked like she was just lazy or didn't care. And the truth was, really, she was so discouraged that she just pretty much gave up. We tested her and found that she had weak auditory processing, so she missed a lot of the information that came in class. She was a good reader, but she had poor working memory and attention, so she couldn't retain the information that she read. We worked with her in a processing skills program to improve those underlying processing skills, and within weeks, all of her grades started to go up. By the time she finished with us at Stowell Learning Center, she was getting all A's and B's and was the top of that dreaded history class. By building the underlying processing or learning skills, it gave her the foundation that she needed to listen and to absorb information as she should. I'm going to talk a little bit more about these underlying skills in a later video, but before I do, I want to give you a little tip for working with your struggling student. As you probably have recognized, having a learning challenge is painful. No one wants to be corrected, and our kids with learning and attention challenges get corrected all the time. I want to encourage you to try validating your child for something before moving on to the correction. So maybe your child has a terrible time getting started on homework. So instead of saying, "Stop messing around and get started on your homework," try saying, "I see that you put your name and date on the paper. That is exactly the right place to start. I'm really proud of you for that. What's the next step?" Or let's say your child has done a page of math, and as usual, they've done some of them right and a lot of them wrong. So instead of saying, you know, you just need to be more careful so that you don't have to redo all of these, maybe you want to say, find a couple that are right and say, wow, I noticed your addition on this one was so careful. It's absolutely perfect. Can you do your addition just as carefully on this one? By validating something with our kids, it helps them to be more willing to move ahead. A lot of times our kids who are struggling, they're not going to accept praise about themselves, but if you validate the performance, then you get more of what you want and they feel a little bit more willing to move ahead. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and if so, please share it.